We are Free to Learn Childminding, and it is no coincidence that we share a name with this excellent book called Free to Learn by Peter Gray. We, in fact, got permission from him to use the title of his book as the name of our childminding setting. And today we wanted to read a little bit and discuss a little bit from this book, specifically in the section where he defines what he means by play.
So when you're an early childhood or early years nerd, you think about play a lot, and there's lots of definitions and talk about what's play and what's learning and blah, blah, blah. Personally, we really like the 5 characteristics that Peter Gray set out in this book. And in this video, we'll talk about the first characteristic. Play is self-chosen and self-directed. Play is first and foremost an expression of freedom. It is what one wants to do as opposed to what one is obliged to do. So this really does mean like what people want to do when somebody's not telling them what to do. And it's for a lot of earlier settings that can be kind of challenging to trust that that's enough, because there's this idea of learning being like what I teach them about what the colors are or what the shapes are or how to play with a toy in a certain way. But at Free to Learn, we really try to make a lot of space for actual self-directed play.
So before we started the setting, I don't actually have a background in early years work at all. And so before we opened the setting, I read this book. And this aspect of play really resonated with me personally. Both with my memories from my childhood of what kinds of play I enjoyed, specifically things that I chose.
Like what?
Mainly pretending to be a horse, or pretending that I was riding a horse, or playing with my horse figurines. And also, it resonates with me as an adult too, that, if I choose to do something of my own accord, if I conceive of it and plan it, and that could be with other people too, but if I have control over my own involvement in the thing, it's more fun, it's more gratifying, I usually do a better job at it, and it feels more like a more fully human activity, honestly.
Yeah, and so the way we do things at Free to Learn, we try to make a lot of space and time for children to get in self-directed play, so that them mucking around with things and seeing what they're interested in and seeing what happens if I do this, or what happens if I fill up this cup over and over again, or just a lot of play is, I think, trying to explore what happens if, and then running with those findings and learning what you're interested in. And it's, in my experience, when kids have opportunities to do this, they settle in much quicker, they build relationships with new adults and other children much quicker, and when they're really engaged in what they're interested in, that's when they are at the limit, they're working at the outer limits of their current capabilities. That's when they're more likely to try to do something more challenging on the climber, or take that social risk and like initiate play with somebody else, or try to take a toy from somebody else when they're in that playful sort of mind. I think this type of play, unfortunately, is getting increasingly squeezed out of schools and even some nurseries, because there's so much pressure on to get children ready for real learning. And I really, as in we've explained in videos previously, I think that's trying to build a house without the foundation, and earlier isn't necessarily better.
So we talk on here a lot about, and we'll continue to talk on here a lot about, the sort of specific benefits of different types of play and self-directed activity that children do, about the ways that those things help their physical, emotional, cognitive development, will probably lead to better outcomes later in life. And those things are all true and they're all important, but it is also true that making space for kids to play is important because play is fun.
Yep.
We should get the opportunity to find enjoyment in life when we can.
Definitely.
All of us, including children.
Definitely. We have a flag behind us. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. We have this up because we just recorded a video for the earlier summit. That's a fundraiser for medical aid for Palestinians. The link for this summit will be below. I think there's nearly 24 contributors from all over the UK and even the US speaking on a wide variety of topics related to early childhood education, parenting, social work. Just basically, if you work with kids in any capacity, there will be something for you in this summit. And all the money will be going to medical aid for Palestinians. So check that summit out. It's going to be a good deal. The tickets are going to be sliding scale, whatever you can afford.
Thanks for watching. We are going to do more videos like this because Peter Gray has 5 characteristics of play and we only talked about one of them today. And also, if you're watching this video, there's a good chance you already know that we have an Instagram account, but if you didn't know, we have an Instagram account. We post several times a week.
Yep.
And if you have an Instagram account, then please give us a follow on there as well as here.